All right, let's dive into the sun and the earth and how these affect your erections, your morning wood in particular, but erections in general, but definitely your morning wood. Because once again, if you remember from last time when I talked about the morning wood alpha inhibitor, it's sandwiched. So here's morning wood alpha inhibitor. It's sandwiched in between the blood flow alpha inhibitor and the erection biochemicals alpha inhibitor. And the reason that's the case is because there's really two things that need to happen to have morning wood. Like I said, it's the simplest form. You need to have good blood flow, right? Good enough, at least good enough circulation, and you need to have at least good enough testosterone levels. If you got those two things in place, then morning wood should be occurring, okay? That's why it's sandwiched in between these two. And then if you look here, I had another class we did on the various epigenetic signalers. So these on the outside are the epigenetic signalers that help us, create the environment in our body that we need in order to produce those awesome erections. And it tends, the way on the map is, on the impact point matrix, is the epigenetic signalers that help a particular alpha inhibitor tends to sandwich them. So morning wood tends to be helped the most. It's not the only things that help by any means, but of these epigenetic signalers tend to be helped the most by nature, particularly the sun and the earth, and REM. Okay. Now we got into REM pretty deeply last class. So if you didn't see that class and you want to go back to that, that's a really important class when it comes to understanding the full scope. This one combined with that one in terms of morning wood. If you didn't see that, just go into our free group, join our free group, and you can get free access to that. And I put the link on the screen. Super simple link. Just join the free group and then you can get access to that. Okay. So let me go back here to the impact point matrix. And let's talk about the sun and the earth first. Because I think of the epigenetic signalers, this is probably the least appreciated and one of the most powerful. And let's talk about why here. So with this, first of all, these two are related, okay? The sun and the earth and REM, okay? In a multitude of different ways. But one of the most important is that light is your biggest factor when it comes to sleep, okay? Because of the way the circadian rhythm works. And let me bring up a thing here. So let's look here. So first of all, how the sunlight changes as it comes up and it gets to midday all the way down. You can see, and I'm sure you've noticed this, as the sun rises, it has more of a reddish tint, right? There's less blue and green light in there, and it's more of a reddish tint. As it goes on, it gets more bright white. So that adds in a lot more blue and a lot more green into that light. And then as the sun starts to set, it becomes reddish again, which takes that blue and green out. So that's important because that blue and green light and that red light are what help trigger this circadian rhythm. Let me kind of bring up this other chart on the circadian rhythm. You see here sunrise, sunset. And the reason this is important is that we have an internal circadian rhythm. Okay, all animals do, plants do too. But the thing is they've done some studies on this. They started the studies with plants, actually. They found that these circadian rhythms are in us, but they're not a true 24 hours. So, in other words, if you take a plant and you take it out of sunlight for a while, like a few days, it will still do what it normally does when the sun comes up and the sun goes down, but it will start to drift. It won't be a true 24 hours, just like in us. Like if we're never seeing sunlight, our sleep schedule is going to get all messed up because that circadian rhythm is going to keep drifting and keep drifting. What causes the circadian rhythm to set every day is the sun. Okay, so the sun, especially the blue light in the sun, comes in through our eye and then creates, they have the central clock inside of the nervous system, and it sets that. So one of the most powerful things you can do, especially if you have a hard time sleeping or getting to sleep at night, is, well, first of all, getting up earlier helps. The earlier the sun you get, the better. But getting sun immediately in the morning, like get out in the morning, get your cup of coffee or whatever, and get that sunlight in your eyes, not even through the window if possible. Actually get out there, get it on your face and in your eyes, at least 5 or 10 minutes. And that will help a lot in terms of setting the circadian rhythm for that day. And this one simplifies it a little bit. So if we look at this, here we go. The sunlight, when you get it into your eyes in particular, but skin too, but particularly through the eyes, it comes into the brain and starts producing serotonin. Okay, right here in the brain. So when the light starts losing, like when it starts going down and starts losing the blue light, starts to get reddish again, okay, and going into darkness, then melatonin is produced. But it's basically the same chemical. It just switches depending on light. And that's why light is so important, because serotonin, right, causes you to feel energized. That's what you want during the day. But you don't want that at night when you're trying to sleep. And that's part of the reason that electronics, particularly screen electronics, can be a real problem at night, because there's blue light. So make sure on any electronics you're using that you turn the blue light down. Most of them have it built into the operating system. You can just look it up if you've got Android or iPhone. How do I turn the blue light out? And usually you can have a setting on there is that when the sun goes down, it takes the blue light out, right? So you don't deal with it as much. Now, I don't recommend doing a lot of screen stuff at night anyway, but set your life up so it doesn't even become an issue, right? If you need to grab your phone or whatever, it's not, bombarding your eyes with this blue light, because that's going to increase serotonin production. It's going to decrease melatonin production, which is what causes you to feel sleepy. It's going to increase serotonin. Like I said, it's basically the same molecule. It's just light is making the difference. I mean, look at the molecule itself. This is the structure. Here's serotonin. Look, melatonin's almost exactly the same thing. Okay, there's just a couple of extra things here. But other than that, it's the same molecule. And like I said, what makes the difference is the light and the quality of the light. Does it have blue and green in it or not? Okay, that's what's going to make the difference. So the sooner you get that light in your eyes, the sooner it sets your circadian rhythm for the day, which will make you more sleepy when it's time to go to bed. Okay, so let's move on here. Hold on a second. Let me just look. Yeah. So here's a couple of tips.
Hey man, I hope you got a ton out of this segment of the MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, where we are diving deep into overcoming this insidious alpha inhibitor that is blocking our birthright of having natural, long-lasting, stage 4 rock-hard erections. If you'd like to get free access to the entire MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video series, make sure you click the link in the description of this video to register for free access to all of these life-changing videos in this series, along with some other surprise bonuses. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, and turn on your notifications bell so that you get all of the future value-packed videos just like this that I will be releasing for you to help you be the best version of yourself and have natural, stage 4, rock-solid performance. I will see you tomorrow in the next MWAI Morning Wood Alpha Inhibitor video.